everyone, welcome back to Strange Minds 6. I'm your host, Ruby, and today we're going to be reading So Much for Love: How I Survived a Toxic Relationship by Sophie Lambda. We're going to be continuing this book, and before we begin, please hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't subscribed already. It would mean a great deal to us. And without further ado, my dear friends, grab a snack, grab a drink, or sit back and relax, and let's get to it. Here's what Dominique Barber said about perverse narcissists. It's not a disease. It can't be treated. There are no drugs, no possible therapy. These people do not cooperate, except to give the illusion of goodwill. They are assholes who will never change. Why don't they ever change? It's very simple. When a problem obstructs our progress in life, we have two choices. Choice 1, problem, no self-analysis. Without any self-analysis, we keep running into the same problem over and over. This is what is called a pattern. And choice 2, the problem, self-analysis, change, growth. And to get rid of a pattern and thereby effect real change in our life, we have to go through the self-analysis stage, which is an inner process that's different for everyone. A manipulator, being totally opposed to self-analysis, is therefore incapable of change, ever, and remains stuck in their pattern. Manipulators don't know how to behave any other way. Manipulation, narcissistic behavior, and psychic vampirism are not strategies, but states of being. Their lack of empathy is not a strategy meant to cause harm. No, it's mental programming, and there's absolutely nothing to do about it. Hi, I'm good at math. Hi, I'm an awesome runner. Hi, I have zero empathy for the pain of others. As they are only capable of seeing the world through the prism of their own ego, manipulators can even see the suffering in others. For example, when someone else is suffering, they often react very negatively and take it as a personal attack. You're just crying to hurt me. But at the beginning, things are very different. When the relationship started, I felt submerged. I had never felt so loved and understood, so heard and so respected in terms of my feelings. And thus began a marathon in 3 stages. Adulation. How can I resist such an infusion of love? The word is effusion, not infusion, dummy. In a normal relationship, you must simply call that love. That's what I thought I had found. In a dysfunctional relationship with a manipulator, that's called love bombing. What's with all the balloons? Personally, I'm not that into material proof of a man's love that is either over the top or too expensive. Me, I love it. Besides, if that's what love is, then it would mean poor people can't love as much. And that's when the manipulator's ruse comes into play. He must adapt to the person he's with, which is what makes him different than a simple seducer. Basic seducer, love, they change into the color, and then they change back. A manipulator has a natural talent for behavioral mimicry, which is why you feel like you met your soulmate. The manipulator can match your colors. Support, encouragement, flattery. Next comes actions designed to gain the other's trust. Your new comic strip is awesome, Chip Chip. You can do it. Go you. I'm so lucky I know you. You're my favorite person. Compliments, validation. You're so beautiful, and you don't even realize it. It's crazy. I'm such a lucky man. Consideration, small gestures. I don't have enough cash for a restaurant, but I wanted us to eat together, so I bought pasta, two fillets, and soy ice cream as you're lactose intolerant. Promises of a future. When we're older, I'll buy a house or move to New York, and when you're ready, we'll have a mini Chip Chip. The love bombing is just bait, a lure that perfectly imitates real love, a trap whose only goal is to capture, just like a hook snares a trout. And once we're nice and snared, totally charmed, and the hook is in there good and deep, that's when the trouble begins. And then it's the second phase in the 3-phase marathon. Devolution. When you hear devolution, this is what comes to mind. You're worthless. No one will ever want you. You're nothing without me. You're too fat. You're too skinny. You're ugly. Damn. Talk about being weak. And that's actually not wrong. This kind of devolution happens a lot, but that's devolution in its most basic and direct way, whereas Marcus was a bit smarter than that. Especially since, personally, I never would have put up with that kind of talk, not even once, and that's thanks to my mom. If a boy ever tells you you're worthless, leave. If he tells you you're ugly, leave. If a boy ever raises a hand against you, even just once, fight back and then leave. Okay, Mom, got it. Can I get back to MSN? Manipulators know how to adapt to their victim. They are heightened psychological acuity, like with their mimicry. In the seduction phase, they know exactly where to aim their arrows, so they strike when it hurts the most. Don't anyone tell me they're nuts. They're evil geniuses, yo. One of the favorite tools of a manipulator is the guilt trip. They repeat this a lot. They are masters of this art. Everything is her fault. How do they do it so easily? Their favorite formula: I won, you, because you too. I 1. Cheated on you or lied to you, other despicable action verbs. You, because you overreacted, yelled, lied, left, other exaggerated action verbs justifying this behavior. In conclusion, it's never his fault. Marcus would throw his very worst accusations at me as normal reactions to my behavior. It's a way of shirking responsibility and justifying all the horrible stuff you do. I'm rubber, you're glue. I cheated on you because I was feeling lonely on account of your jealousy. I saw messages from your ex on Facebook and it bummed me out so much I slept with my coworker. I drank too much because you just made me angry. I only kissed a girl after doing some blow because I was sad. These hysterical fits I have started with you. Since I am someone who has a tendency to overanalyze, the idea would end up sprouting in my head and taking root. So now, the pretty fairy tale starts to smell a little bit off. One last powerful technique used by manipulators completes the picture: gaslighting. It's a technique designed to get the victim to doubt her own perception, her values, her own memory, and it goes much further than just a simple lie. In a nutshell, gaslighting is lying what a great white is to a tadpole. Picture yourself in a somewhat embarrassing situation. For example, his mother called you Louise, and you're waiting for your boyfriend's reaction. For this example, Chocolate and his buddy Caramel have agreed to act out these parts. Reaction number 1, the sorry excuse. Sorry, she didn't do it on purpose. No biggie. Reaction number 2, casual indifference. No need to make such a big fuss, geez. Reaction number 3, haughty admission of guilt. Yeah, whatever. My mom was tight with my ex, so what? Reaction number 4, douchebag humor. Louise who? Never heard of her. Reaction number 5, awkward silence. And any other kind of slightly awkward reaction that we might have during an unexpected embarrassing situation. This one got you good. I'm out of here. So which one did Marcus choose? He talked about what happened in a way that had nothing to do with reality. Reality, well, I'm not thrilled, but it's okay, these things happen. Marcus's reality. You overreacted, which forced me to lie. He keeps bits and pieces of the truth and mixes them with a bunch of different lies. The facts are a few weeks old. The lie is plausible, making it hard to argue. A pinch of bullshit, a dab of truth, and boom, done. Sometimes the lies are so elaborate that it's impossible to untangle them or even describe or explain them. At my first meeting with my shrink, I was stammering and stuttering. Luckily, she was great and understood what was happening right away. I know it's hard to clearly explain something vague. The most annoying part? There's no way to prove what we said was true. Everything was verbal. There is no paper trail. It's he said, she said, and that drove me crazy. Marcus was constantly calling my judgment into question, and so much self-assurance that he ended up making me doubt myself. I wasn't sure of anything anymore. And there's one crucial thing that we can't forget. I loved him deeply, and I trusted him implicitly. Oh my God, how can you be so dumb? Get back here, butthead. No, no, this time I know I'm right. I think what destroyed me the most was how Marcus played with my perception. It was worse than cheating and the lying. Gaslighting is a tool used by the most sinister people. It's pure brainwashing. Gaslighting also takes on the form of exaggeration. Stay put. I'll go get my instruments. Making all sorts of stuff up. You yell. You yell it all the time. I yelled once, just before I left him. Pure and simple denial of reality. Reality? That's bullshit, you're lying, that never happened. Not reality. It happened. Contradictory words and actions. Words. Will avoid Louise. Actions. He goes to talk to her, writes her all the time, he's always the one reconnecting, etc. The divination phase often includes the famous stage of isolation. When people think of isolation within a toxic relationship with a manipulator, they think it goes like this: I forbid you to see your friends and family. Okay. That's a superficial version that only helps give a false image of the victims. People who are weak, soft, play the victim game, are easy to control, and have no character, are dull. Dance, fool. Yes, master. That might be the case with some people, or at least that's how I picture it, in a slightly exaggerated version here. But as far as I'm concerned, trust me, I did not fit the victim profile, so by definition, I think I thought I was immune to all of that. On the other hand, I do have a sense of self-sacrifice. I tend to feel guilty easily, to absorb other people's emotions too much, and to overanalyze. But I'm not docile. In fact, I have a rather strong personality. Isolation mission. Docile. Demand something. Comply without resistance. Mission accomplished. Not a docile person. Push the person to make the decision themselves. Convince them that their friends are social and social circle don't deserve them. Throw a fit until they make the decision on their own. Don't be afraid to get creative. But a manipulator who, as we've seen, knows how to adapt, will adjust their pressure method to match their victim. With a kid who always throws a tantrum at the supermarket, the parents usually end up leaving them at home. With a manipulator, same thing. After dealing with their fits, their outbursts, their pouting and reactions, worthy of the best Shakespearean actors, You end up thinking it would just be easier to stop seeing the people who bug them. The people who bug them are either those who are likely to see right through them, or those that are crucial for your mental equilibrium. Rejected my friend Leah with the kind of sharp intuition and frankness I love. Rejected my friend Martha, fun and cheerful but not to be messed with. Rejected my friend Claude, who can spot toxic personalities and who have busted him in 2 flat seconds. Rejected my buddy Ben, a real sweetheart whom I've known forever and helps keep me centered. Accepted my buddy Arnaud, kind of a groupie and a big fan of Marcus's work. Oddly enough, he made the cut. Just like a spoiled child, the manipulator has a God complex. He makes his partner his thing, his toy, his and only his. Don't touch it, it's mine. I said it's mine. But you're not even playing with it. The manipulator's victim, already reduced to an object, sees their world collapse even more when the pillar that is their social circle collapses. Oftentimes, trying to warn people is pointless. Control is a powerful thing. Some friends did try to warn me, but I would have always find excuses and I lied to myself. You be careful. I don't recognize you anymore. How come we never see you? It's not him, I swear. It's just that I've been really busy with work. He always found ways to make me doubt my friends. It was so easy in hindsight, obviously. Check out those pics on Facebook. Is that Ben's party? How come you weren't invited? You ask me. That's not a real friend. My friends would never do that to me. And guess who you turn to when your world collapses? Don't worry, I'm here. I will never leave you. And voila! Now that your ego resembles an egg frying on the asphalt, it's on to the next phase. How about some salt? My moving to Paris was the 3rd stage in our marathon. Rejection. Manipulators are often in a hurry to get to you to change your life. Moving, marriage, and pregnancies are often trigger events for worse to come. I left Marcus only 3 weeks after I moved. My life turned into a nightmare the second I got to Paris. If you plan on writing another book, how about screwing up your life for dummies? You already got the plot. The rejection phase doesn't necessarily mean a breakup because the manipulator still feels the need to play with you. But it's a phase that happens when the victim is starting to feel tired and not as energetic, which for the manipulator means boring. So in order not to lose you forever, he knows to ease up before the final breakup and create moments of happiness, promising you they'll change. It's a very violent and repetitive emotional roller coaster that mentally drains you. And just so rejection hurts as much as possible, it happens after a major event that required a huge investment on your part. marriage, moving, pregnancy, etc. Accusations, happiness, distress. Accusations of cheating, date night, ignores your text for 24 hours, weekend in Berlin, turns down sex and demeans you, Netflix and pizza night, threatens to kill themselves. These are the 3 typical stages people go through when they have the misfortune of falling for a manipulator, and it is very difficult psychological and it is a very difficult psychological marathon run without training. Are you done? Can we go for a drink now? You thought the breakup was the finish line? I had left him, yes, but my troubles were far from over. The love of a manipulator is like a huge bonfire. It attracts attention. It's spectacular, magnificent. But the warmth it gives is only temporary, and once the fire goes out, you're left shivering next to a heap of ashes. I had left him. All that was left was me and the void. Ah, the void. Those gaps in our ego, small but powerful, invisible but painful. Those hollow parts, those fault lines and breaches that make us behave like drunken apes at times. Being afraid of loneliness, being a control freak, being a people pleaser, being eternally dissatisfied, being obsessively in need for recognition. The genius of Marcus was that he made me think he had filled the deepest rifts in me, healed my oldest wounds. I had immediately felt whole and safe. He knew where to touch, where to fill, where to smooth over. He quickly made me feel that he was giving new meaning to my life and made himself indispensable to my happiness. Leaving him therefore meant opening those gaps again and exposing myself to the void. I've got a bad feeling. Give me some smokes. Whew. Breathe. Okay, you can do this. You know them. These are your faults. They were there before, and you managed. I'd been in love before. The void that comes when it's over isn't easy, but at least it's familiar. Breaking up with Marcus, though, was a whole other story. Seriously? What the hell is this whole shit? All that shit is the mess a manipulator leaves behind when he exits your life. Loss of self-confidence, feelings of guilt, fear of others. The ego of a manipulator is really pathetic, since the truth is too hard for the manipulators to face. Their only solution is to use lies, guilt trips, intimidation, victimization, illusions, and mental rerouting to fool the world. Bullshit, in other words. In essence, their rapport with the other person works as a facade. The other person is nothing but an object of validation used to reflect the illusion. Without the exterior gaze that validates the game, their act collapses. And what is more powerful than love when it comes to the gaze of approval they seek? It is the most beautiful and clever of deceptions. I had to face the facts. I'd been had. He strung me along for weeks like I was a rabbit and he had the carrot. The bad news was that, on top of it all, they don't let you get away that easily. And this is where we are going to leave it, my dear friends. Tune in next video to hear more. This has been Ruby, signing off.